Well, let's take a look at some news articles. There's lots of news, as always. So, as you know, it's really very hard to be an immigrant in America, and they're kicking everybody out. So, this is an issue. They're talking about what if we can't get immigrant physicians? All my doctors are immigrants. I can't remember the last time I saw anybody that was more than a first-generation immigrant as a doctor. Anyway, it's an interesting issue, but they're talking about the hard law, something we depend on. We think of the lower paid professions as being dominated by immigrants, but also medical care being dominated by immigrants. And there's a huge shortage of doctors and a huge shortage of nurses. And the Trump administration just downgraded nursing as not a professional training thing, so the nurses can no longer get financial assistance to go to school. So that will decrease the number of nurses more. I see. Hello, folks. So this is kind of funny. There's a the International Association for Cryptologic Research wanted to have an election for the board. So being cryptographers, they had to make it complicated. So they used some kind of complicated online voting. And then, in order to count the votes, they took the essential key and split it into three pieces, where three people had just parts of the key to make sure only if they worked together could they recover the data, and one of them lost his key. So they can't get the votes. And now they say, they're going to change it, so all you have to have is 2 out of the 3. So I guess they're discovering fault tolerance. Anyway, they're going to have to rerun the whole election. Someone says no sound. Well, according to this, it's picking up sound. Can you other folks hear me, like Rouser Dad and such? Okay, yeah, it must be on your end, S. David. If you hover over the face of Twitch, there's a volume on the bottom left. You might have to adjust that. Anyway, so they're going to rerun the election. I've seen this before. In fact, this has happened to me. RN looks like M pretty closely, and so somebody put that in Microsoft. This Microsoft is actually RN Microsoft, and that's a pretty clever form of typo squatting, and so they're using that to steal logins. It's one of the many reasonable tricks to try. And let's see if I can defeat this thing. All right, I might as well try and defeat this one while I'm at it. Yep. Good. All right. This one is pretty amazing. It's been sort of known for a while that there are a lot of bots on Twitter. And in the 2016 election, there was very strong evidence that the Russian government was deliberately trying to manipulate the American election with a huge bot farm. They found the people involved. They were amplifying messages and trying to get Trump elected. And now there's a whole lot of political messages on Twitter, but Elon Musk decided to add a feature to Twitter that would tell you what country an account came from. And it turned out that many of the top MAGA influencers are not American at all. They're pretending to be American, but they actually come from East Asia, Pacific, Bangladesh, India. And it turns out a lot of them, at least according to this analysis, are not doing it for political reasons. They are not trying to push a candidate. What they're trying to do is make money. And the point is, there are a bunch of tutorials telling you how to do this. The way to make money, if you're in like India or someplace, is a content that targets the people in your native country doesn't pay much. $1 for 1,000 views on Pakistani content, but you can get $5 to $7 on 1,000 views on USA content, which makes sense because the Americans probably have more money to buy whatever products are being advertised. So you make these contents and you do things like scrape a news source and then modify it and artificially create a face and a voice and make a video. And they talk about, it can be about sports, it can be about history, but a lot of it's about politics, which really gets people watching. And it turns out that 4 of the largest MAGA accounts, including one named after Ivanka Trump that had 1 million followers, and another one had 400,000 followers, which are really big amounts in the influencer space, were coming from foreign locations. And after turning this on and it being revealed that most of the right-wing accounts were coming from foreign influencers, but they say it was not also true of left-wing accounts, although I don't know how many left-wing accounts there are left on Twitter. Elon Musk removed the feature, but then banned some of those accounts because that is a violation of the terms of service to pretend to be something you aren't, and then presumably supposedly turned the feature back on. So it's interesting. It's just more details of exactly how this works. And the interesting thing is it does not appear to be a foreign government meddling with our election so much as just people trying to make money and a consequence of the monetization rules of social networks, which is what everyone's been saying a lot over the last several years, is that having the like and dislike feature and the pay by the click means that the most important thing is to get people to view your content, and the most effective way to do that is to say something outrageous that makes people angry, and therefore it's very unhealthy for our society. Yeah.
Where is Elon Musk originally come from?
South Africa.
South Africa.
Yeah, brought a whole gang of people from South Africa, and they formed PayPal. They called themselves the PayPal Mafia, and now they're very deep in Trump's government. David Sachs is another one of the gang. He's now the crypto czar. So they all made a lot of money, and they're all very much allied with Trump, and in the cabinet and such. Yeah.
The city of the South Africa is Cape Town, maybe. I know that.
Well, yeah, I'm not sure what part in South Africa, but I do know that one of the things he's pushed a lot, Elon has pushed, is this belief that the white people are being oppressed in South Africa. So now they're the only group allowed to come to America to flee persecution, is white South Africans, which the rest of the world laughs at, like many things that are happening. But that's Elon. So Arduino is changing our terms of service, banning reverse engineering, which bothers people. I mean, it was an openly hackable system. I thought all the software and everything from Arduino was made by random hackers, so they're getting upset. We'll see what happens. This is why everybody's mad at Adafruit. Anyway, the hardware hackers and hobbyists are upset about this. We'll see what comes of it. So there have been an analysis. Doge is now officially over. Doge has ended, but the Office of Personnel Management is continuing to cut things, but they have analyzed it and said that what Doge did was very harmful and did not actually save money, and just ended up wasting a lot of money and making the government weaker in many ways, which I think was very clear to us while it was happening. It was very foolishly done without understanding the people they were firing, and they often fired the important people and not the expendable people. And this I thought was pretty interesting. Now, the original attack here is not terribly exciting, a fake Windows update screen, but it has more interesting things here. This is the one where it tells you to copy and paste some commands into a command prompt window as a CAPTCHA, which I don't think would fool technical people, but it does fool some people. And then now it comes to complete the installation of a security update, working on updates. So they make you think you have to do this as a... And by the way, Kevin Beaumont, a security researcher, says in his opinion, enterprises should block Windows R. Windows R opens the run box, and it's not something normal people need, and that would be a simple way to stop this. Anyway, so then it uses steganography. They didn't just append malicious data to a file, they embedded the malicious code within the pixel data of ping images, which is a more rarely used technique. And this is another thing which explains something. I've had this happen to me in capture the flag contests. There's a reverse engineering challenge, and it just has a lot of little functions, and I couldn't figure out what was going on. This one has 10,000 function calls, hop, 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 just to frustrate reverse engineers. Then it does the malicious thing. So I guess maybe that's what was going on. I'd disassemble something, and I'd find hundreds and hundreds of little functions, and I'd just give up and say, how am I ever supposed to figure this out? Anyway, it's nice to see this sort of analysis, and we'll be doing a lot of this sort of thing next semester in the malware analysis course. And so another supply chain package attack is underway, infecting 1,000 NPM packages and 27,000 GitHub repos. And what they've done is they've compromised the owner's accounts so they can keep putting up valid updates that contain malware. And the GitHub and the NPM people are taking them down, but they're putting them up so fast they can't take them all down fast enough. And so it's a battle. And, you know, again, more and more of these supply chain attacks are happening, making it pretty nervous time for developers. How do you develop anything without using libraries? And how do you know nobody's poisoning your libraries? Anyway, that's enough of the news. Let me stop this.